What's up, Star Wars fans? Today we're diving into one of the weirdest, sneakiest, most over-engineered starfighters that nobody ever talks about, the Porax-38 Rogue-class. And honestly, the bigger mystery isn't what it can do, but why something this cracked out existed during the Clone Wars at all. Like, who greenlit this? Why does it go this hard? Why is it flexing on ships 3 times more famous? So, let's break down how this thing ended up becoming one of the most high-tech pieces of hardware in the entire Clone Wars era, even though it looks like someone welded a tuning fork to a missile. First off, the Rogue class comes from Utapau. Yeah, the sinkhole planet where Obi-Wan dropped into the world's worst elevator shaft and fought Grievous. Now, Utapau is normally that planet you forget exists, unless there's a lizard screeching in the background. But these guys, they weren't playing around. They needed a planetary defense craft that could punch pirates, outrun separatist fighters, travel across the galaxy alone, and still be able to jam droid brains into the Stone Age. All at once. And Utapau's designers weren't dumb. They teamed up with Bactoid Armor Workshop. You know, the Geonosian super nerds who built literally half the CIS arsenal. Staps, homing spider droids, super tanks. If it shoots lasers and looks like a bug, they made it. So you mix Utapau's "we need survival tools now, please energy" with Bactoid's "we haven't slept in 3 months, but check out this new prototype mindset." And you get the Porax-38. It's the definition of look small, hit big. This thing is built for long-range ops, not cheap, disposable droid fighter vibes. While vultures are basically angry Roombas with wings, the Porax is a proper craft. Class 1 hyperdrive. In the Clone Wars era, that is insane. Only the good stuff gets that level of hyperspace performance. Jedi starfighters? Nah. Arc 170s? Not unless you slapped a ring around them. But the P-38? Nah, it just jumps straight into hyperspace like it's late for work. And we haven't even talked about the sensor suite. Bro, this thing has scanners so advanced you could probably detect your neighbor stealing your Wi-Fi from 3-star systems away. Everything is stuffed into that big forward cone. Long-range sensors, active scanners, and the real broken feature, the jammers. These jammers weren't your static noise go bzzz type. They could absolutely wreck the hive-mind coordination of droid fighters. And if you know anything about vulture droids, you know that once you unplug the Wi-Fi, they turn into flying potatoes. So the Porax basically rolls up, hits disable all brains, and suddenly separatist fighters are flying into walls like NPCs during a bad game patch. And the heat from the jammers? Liquid helium cooling. Like, this is atomic lab-level cooling tech shoved into a starfighter that sits in a cave on Utapau. Nobody else was doing that. Not the Republic, not the CIS, not the pirates. Liquid helium cooling for battlefield jamming is some "we're building a time machine in my garage" energy. But the crown jewel, the thing that makes this ship go from "oh neat" to "why isn't this illegal," is the deflector shield web. Not a normal shield projector, not overlapping shields. A web of dozens of tiny independent units across the hull. More shield nodes than any fighter of its era. It's like wrapping the ship in bubble wrap. But each bubble is a miniature shield generator. Translation? It tanks hits like a mini-tank, but also flies faster than an Arc 170 and hits harder than your expectations in life. And while we're on weapons, sure, it only has 2 lasers, but those are beam-amplified cannons. Basically, sniper mode lasers. Slap on the external munitions rack and now it's also a bomber. The versatility is ridiculous. Even the flight mechanics are cracked. Each wing has its own reactor, each reactor has ion thrusters, and then Utapau adds their own vectoring tubes for fine-tuned thrust adjustments. That means insane maneuverability. Think threading a needle inside a hurricane level. And this is why dudes like Cad Bane were obsessed with this thing. He didn't pick it because it looked cool. Bane picked ships like most people pick lockpicks. He wanted something that could get him out of literally anything. And the Porax was the break glass in case of everything option. Then he modded it, then he stole a cloaking device, then things really went downhill for anyone chasing him. Even Grievous's Magna Guards flew modified versions. The best droids in the CIS flew this ship. Not interceptors, not tri-fighters, this. That tells you everything. And one of the funniest parts? The Techno-Union literally built an entire counter-ship to fight the Porax because it was messing up their plans so hard. The Mangvim 814. Smaller, faster, built just to take this thing head-on, and still got dunked on when Republic forces arrived. Rough. By the end of it, though, the Porax suffers the classic Clone Wars fate, overshadowed, underused, and eventually sold off to randoms in the corporate sector. A tragic end for a ship built to defend its homeworld and embarrass droid fighters on a daily basis. But honestly, when you stack it all up, hyperspace speed, liquid helium cooling, shield webbing, vector thrusters, long-range ops, jamming tech that basically commits war crimes against droid software, the Porax-38 is easily one of the most high-tech ships of the entire era. Not the flashiest, not the most famous, but definitely the one that makes you go, okay, why does this random planetary defense craft have better tech than half the Republic fleet? And that's why the Rogue-class Porax-38 is the dark horse of the Clone Wars